2 centuries have passed since Alexander Hamilton lost his life, yet Hamilton's ghost still dances through the corridors of history, leaving a mark on the very state of America. This is the story of Alexander Hamilton, Founding Father's untold struggles. His face is etched on the $10 bill, streets and statues echo his legacy, and he played a major role in America as we know it. Alexander Hamilton, the OG multitasker, writer, soldier, lawyer, politician, economist, and a chief architect of the American dream. In the blink of his tragically short life, he went from sticking it to the Brits in the Revolutionary War to conjuring up the words that birthed the U.S. Constitution. The United States might be a heavyweight on the global stage now, but rewind a few centuries, and it was a scrappy underdog duking it out for freedom. And in this epic saga, Alexander Hamilton was the brains and audacity that set the stage for the land of the free and the home of the brave. What is his story? Alexander Hamilton's journey kicked off in Charlestown on the island of Nevis. Born to Rachel Lavian and James A. Hamilton, he and his brother James Jr. were born out of wedlock. Rachel, a woman of mixed British and French descent, left her first husband and moved to Nevis, where she raised the boys. Their father, James A. Hamilton, later abandoned the family, leaving them in the care of their cousin Peter Lytton. However, tragedy struck again when Lytton took his own life, and the brothers were separated. James Jr. became a carpenter's apprentice, while Alexander found refuge with merchant Thomas Stevens. Young Hamilton, despite his upbringing, showed promise. He worked for an import-export firm and proved his mettle as a trader. His keen mind and voracious reading habit caught the attention of the community, leading to financial support for his education in the North American colonies. In 1772, Hamilton set sail for Boston and then New York, where he stayed with Hercules Mulligan. Through Mulligan's connections, Hamilton sold cargo to fund his education. He attended the Elizabethtown Academy in New Jersey to fill gaps in his education and was influenced by revolutionary intellectual William Livingston. Hamilton entered King's College, now Columbia University, in 1773. He engaged in a literary society and responded to Loyalist pamphlets with his first political writings. Despite the turmoil leading up to the Revolutionary War, Hamilton demonstrated courage by saving his college's Loyalist president from an angry mob. The war forced Hamilton to halt his studies, but his early experiences laid the groundwork for what awaited him in the future. In 1775, following the skirmishes at Lexington and Concord, Alexander Hamilton joined a New York militia called the Corsicans. They trained in a graveyard, and Hamilton, quickly recommended for promotion, led successful raids against the British. His unit, now named Hearts of Oak, snagged British cannons, earning them artillery status. Hamilton raised the New York Provincial Company of Artillery in 1776. As its captain, he participated in pivotal moments of the Revolutionary War, including the battles of Harlem Heights, White Plains, and Trenton. Notably, at the Battle of Princeton in 1777, Hamilton's tactical brilliance secured an American victory. Amidst the chaos of war, Hamilton's personal life also blossomed. Stationed in Morristown, New Jersey, he met Elizabeth Schuyler, and they married in 1780. Their union produced 8 children. Hamilton's journey took a turn when he became an aide to General George Washington. For 4 years, he served as Washington's right-hand man, managing correspondence, drafting orders, and engaging in high-level duties. While their friendship with other officers deepened, rumors about Hamilton's relationship surfaced. Letters to Marquis de Lafayette and John Laurens fueled speculation of intimate connections, though interpretations vary among historians. Eager for field command, Hamilton left Washington's staff in 1781. After a brief reprimand, he secured a command role, leading battalions in the assault on Yorktown. His tactical prowess, especially in the nighttime capture of Redoubt No. 10. The British surrendered, marking a symbolic end to the Revolutionary War. After the success at Yorktown, Hamilton returned to New York City, resigning from the military in 1782. He quickly delved into law, passing the bar in July 1782. In October, he received a license to argue before the Supreme Court of New York. Hamilton also took on the role of the receiver of continental taxes for New York. In 1782, Hamilton jumped into the Congress scene, repping New York. He wasn't shy about sharing his thoughts, though. He thought the Continental Congress during the war was a bit too decentralized, and boy, did he have some words about it. He even shot a letter to James Duane in 1780 on why the Articles of Confederation weren't cutting it. Now after the war, things got a bit dicey. Soldiers were grumbling, especially in Newburgh, New York. The Continental Army was feeling the pinch in the money department. Hamilton and his Congress pals decided to flex the Newburgh conspiracy to push states in Congress into coughing up some cash. Luckily, George Washington stepped in and saved the day, but it was crystal clear that a beefed-up federal government was in order. Hamilton dipped out of Congress in 1783, picked up a gig as a lawyer in New York, and started making legal waves. He was defending Tories and Brits, setting the stage for legal precedents like Ruggers v. Waddington. Then, in 1784, he went all in and founded the Bank of New York. But wait, he wasn't done. Unhappy with the Articles of Confederation, Hamilton was front and center at the 1786 Annapolis Convention. He drafted a resolution basically saying, let's have a constitutional convention and level up our federal government game. Fast forward to his time in the New York legislature, where he was on fire for recognizing Vermont's sovereignty. You could practically feel his passion for a strong federal government, right? And of course, in 1787, he got a seat at the Constitutional Convention. Sure, he ruffled some feathers with his president-for-life idea, but in the end, he gave the Constitution a nod of approval. Now the Federalist Papers took center stage. Hamilton, along with his buddies John Jay and James Madison, dropped knowledge bombs defending the Constitution. They covered everything from how the government branches should work to military stuff and taxes. When 1789 rolled around, Hamilton stepped into the spotlight as the first Secretary of the Treasury. He had big plans for public credit, wanting the government to pay its debts in full and boost the economy. His vision for a national bank, a cool $10 million, mostly privately owned, to keep the economy steady. Despite the haters, the bank became a reality in 1791, looking a bit like the Bank of England. Oh, and he wasn't done there. Hamilton had this genius idea in 1791 to create a mint and pump out a national currency, a bimetallic system that makes everyday transactions a breeze with those decimal coins. And what about smuggling issues? Hamilton's got it covered. In 1790, he suggested the creation of Revenue Cutter Service, aka the early version of the U.S. Coast Guard. These sea patrols had a mission to stop smuggling and help custom collectors. What set Hamilton apart was that he wasn't just about money. He was all about building up the country's industries. His 1791 report on manufacturing pushed for protective tariffs, and he even set up the Society for the Establishment of Useful Manufactures. The Great Falls of the Pasig River became the spot for a booming manufacturing center. The man was a dealmaker too. In 1794, he played a key role in hashing out the Jay Treaty with Britain. That bad boy settled post-revolution issues, kept the peace, and made trade between the U.S. and Britain a decade of smooth sailing. But you know how it goes. Hamilton called it quits in 1795, citing personal stuff and not being too thrilled about the lack of a solid plan for that pesky public debt. And here's where the plot thickens. Thomas Jefferson and James Madison weren't vibing with Hamilton's ideas, so they cooked up the Democratic-Republican Party to put a wrench in his plans. Even after leaving his Treasury gig, Hamilton stayed in the mix. He was still pulling strings, influencing decisions, and keeping tight with big names like George Washington. Talk about a founding father who knew how to leave his mark. In the 1796 presidential election, each elector had 2 votes, and the candidate with the most votes became president, while the second became vice president. The Federalists planned to support John Adams for president and Thomas Pinckney for vice president. However, Alexander Hamilton, who had conflicts with Adams, cooperated with others to ensure Pinckney received more votes than Adams. The plan failed, leading to Thomas Jefferson becoming vice president. In 1797, Hamilton became embroiled in a sex scandal known as the Reynolds Affair. In 1791, he had an affair with Maria Reynolds, orchestrated by her husband James Reynolds for blackmail. When accusations surfaced in 1797, Hamilton admitted to the affair but denied financial misconduct. He published the Reynolds pamphlet, disclosing details of the affair, facing ridicule but maintaining his availability for public service. During the Quasi-War, Adams appointed Hamilton as a major general. Hamilton served as the de facto head of the army, preparing for a potential conflict with France. He advocated conquering French ally Spain's North American colonies in case of war. However, peace negotiations led by Adams averted the need for military action. In the 1800 election, Hamilton worked against both Democratic Republicans and Federalist nominee John Adams. He urged electors to vote strategically to prevent Jefferson from winning. Hamilton's efforts included proposing a direct election in New York to split electoral votes. Adams, already resentful of Hamilton, learned about his intrigues. Hamilton's pamphlet critical of Adams contributed to Adams losing to Jefferson. In a tied electoral college, Hamilton's influence in the House of Representatives helped Jefferson become president over Aaron Burr. Hamilton considered Jefferson the lesser evil compared to Burr. Shortly after George Clinton's victory in the gubernatorial election, the Albany Register published letters by Charles D. Cooper, revealing Hamilton's disparaging remarks about Burr. Demanding an apology, Burr challenged Hamilton to a duel. Hamilton, unable to recall the specific insult, refused to apologize. Efforts to reconcile failed, and the situation escalated to a duel. On July 11, 1804, at dawn, the duel took place on a rocky ledge in Weehawken, New Jersey, near the Hudson River. Hamilton and Burr were rowed separately from Manhattan. The location was chosen by Hamilton's second. The duel occurred close to where Hamilton's son Philip had died in a duel 3 years earlier. The duel took place on July 11, 1804, at Weehawken, New Jersey. Hamilton, aware of the dangers, chose not to aim directly at Burr. Burr shot Hamilton, who suffered a severe abdominal injury. The exact sequence of shots remains unclear. Hamilton's shot missed, while Burr's hit Hamilton above the right hip, causing severe internal damage. After the duel, Hamilton was transported to the Greenwich Village boarding house of his friend William Bayard Jr., the same surgeon who attended to Philip Hamilton treated him. Despite medical attention, Hamilton's condition worsened. The bullet couldn't be removed, leading to his death on July 12, 1804, at the age of 49. Hamilton endured considerable suffering for at least 31 hours and died at 2 o'clock on July 12, 1804, at Bayard's home. His funeral procession, organized by the Society of the Cincinnati, drew widespread participation and halted all business in the city at noon 2 days later. Gouverneur Morris delivered the eulogy, and Hamilton was buried in the Trinity Church Cemetery. Hamilton's death, widely mourned, led to a grand funeral procession in New York City. Gouverneur Morris delivered the eulogy, and Hamilton was buried at Trinity Church Cemetery. Alexander Hamilton's impact on American history continues to resonate through his influential interpretations of the Constitution and policies. His ideas, outlined in the Federalist Papers, remain vital in legal studies and court decisions. Regarded as the patron saint of the American school of economic philosophy, Hamilton's ideas on protectionism and government intervention in business influenced U.S. economic policies. His advocacy for tariffs to support emerging industries became a cornerstone of economic thought. Hamilton's theories extended beyond U.S. borders, influencing figures like Friedrich List and contributing to the development of Meiji Japan. His advocacy for a strong executive, tied to public support, laid the foundation for the modern administrative state. If you enjoyed this video and want more fascinating insights into historical figures and events, here are 2 more videos you may enjoy. Make sure to hit that like button, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating content. And that concludes our deep dive into the incredible life and legacy of Alexander Hamilton. What a man! Now, before you go, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Alexander Hamilton? Did any part of his story surprise you? Drop your comments down below. And here's your call to action. Do you have a favorite historical figure you'd like us to cover next? Or perhaps there's a specific period in history you find intriguing? Let us know in the comments, and we might just turn your suggestion into our next video. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the pages of history. Your engagement and thoughts mean the world to us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, stay curious.